This is Pastor Curry, pastor of the East Zion Fair Baptist Church, Wilmington's most exciting church, the church that love ya and anything you could do about it. Today with Coffee with Curry, have entered into the month of April, and there are many different awareness events and activities that are happening across the country in various areas. But today we want to focus in on sexual assault awareness because that is very key and vital for our community, and for us to have information on that is very much so. So we brought in a professional, Miss Ardeena Wallace, who will certainly talk to us today and help us to better understand the ins, the outs, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, so that we can continue to have a safe and productive community. So why don't you call somebody real quickly? Tell them Coffee with Curry is on, and let's get after it.
Good morning, Delaware and surrounding areas. You are now tuned in to this week's Coffee with Curry. Join us every Sunday at 11 a.m. with new guests every week. So grab your cup of coffee and join us on Coffee with Curry.
We're back. Just as I promised, we have Miss Ardeena Wallace, and the last time she was on the show, we had a lot of fun just generally talking about various things. But today we come with a very, very serious topic. And while we will certainly have a moment to have our fun moments, we do want to make sure we get to the heart of sexual assault because it happens so often and so frequently. But Miss Wallace, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Curry.
Well, what I want to do first is I want to just talk a little bit about what is considered sexual assault.
Well, first, let me just take this moment to let everyone know that this month, the month of April, is Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
Mhm.
So, during Awareness Month is a lot of times where we get a lot of key information out to the community. We let them know the ins and the outs and what is going on and where they can gain knowledge from. Sexual assault is it's it's a issue and a concern for the community for several reasons. There's kind of misconceptions behind sexual assault and what it is and what happens. And sexual assault is simply the the act of a sexual act without consent.
Okay.
So no means no. Like, for instance, today is no denim day. You know, we're wearing denim today for no denim.
Okay.
No means no.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of things where there's just misunderstandings about sexual assault. If you like, I can
Yeah.
share with you.
Yeah, and I definitely want you to. Yes.
Okay, well, sexual assault, a lot of people believe that rape is something that is planned
Mm.
or something that happens by stranger events, like somebody just snatches you off the street or somebody just randomly climbs through your window or they just randomly are waiting for you at your vehicle or something. But in all actuality, that's probably about a small percentage of
Right.
what happens. 10%. Sexual assaults and acts of sexual violence actually happens because someone has watched you or they have studied you or they've seen your comings and your goings and they know your routines. Like, it's nice to switch up your routine, not go to work the same way you go every day,
Mhm.
not go to the store the same way you go to the store, because the individual perpetrator may very well have been in the coffee shop with you
Mm.
and everything, and he knows that you are coming to the coffee shop. And let me just put a plug there. He or she
Thank you.
knows
Yeah.
that you have been there. So sexual assault is simply the act of a sexual violence without consent.
Yeah. Miss Wallace, I, is- there's a generational issue. I think they're understanding in the at one point, especially during my generation, it was always no meant maybe. It was
Mhm.
never that way for real, but that was the
Right.
perception. Maybe. So people keep pushing. So for a person who may really legitimately been taught by their father or their mother or whoever, just be the boy, be the girl, be aggressive, be assertive. Could you make sure you educate us a little bit more one more time that no means no? What does that mean?
Well, to go back to what you were talking about, sometimes it's cultural. Cultural beliefs are different. Sometimes you're raised that the man is to take control, he's to take charge, and you have to follow those guidelines,
Mm-hmm.
be it your religions and cultural beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
That right there says a lot, and there's really too much that you can't do, and it does walk a fine line. It walks a pretty fine line. Um, there's also the time of back in the day growing up, things happen, rape, molestation, things like that in the family, and it had been kept quiet. It's okay, it's all right. And with those things happening, people get a mindset that, oh, I can do this and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I can get away with this. It's not going to happen. But at the end of the day, no still means no. And I'm glad you said that, because we have this little consent wheels
Mm-hmm.
from the YWCA Delaware. I am a part of the YWCA Delaware Sexual Assault Response Center team, and I'm also the founder of Accessible Structures Incorporating, empowering and strengthening women through spirituality and resources, because I am a walking resource, okay?
I see.
So I am a walking resource. So what happens is we have this consent wheel, and it works for the men, and it works for the women, and it works for the youth as well. And what we do, sometimes we go out to schools and we'll set up in a lunch cafeteria. And when the kids come by, the schools that have wellness centers, and that's basically your high schools, but they might want to consider going into the middle school with today's children
Yes, yes.
and everything, but basically your high schools. And we'll have the kids come and spin the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll spin the wheel. And if they answer the question, they'll get a piece of candy or a swag item or something,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it has. But it says something like this. I'm just going to read one if that's okay with you.
Sure, please.
Okay, it says Dave and Samantha met at a club and hit it off immediately. As the night went on, they started kissing. He started to take it further, and she became uncomfortable and unsure. She told him that she didn't want to go any further, which seemed odd to him since they were both kissing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, see, because they was both in the act of committing this sexual act through to the end, once she became uncomfortable, that meant no. So once she said no,
Mm-hmm.
now it doesn't say that she said
Then,
no,
right,
okay?
okay.
It does not state
Okay.
that she says no.
Okay.
But once she starts to feel uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
she's going to go forth and it's going to be like, this didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So this is your line. This is one of the fine lines right here. Is a perfect example of it. She can say, oh, I'm not comfortable. Oh, no, I'm not sure and everything. The act takes place.
Mm-hmm.
Samantha goes home.
Mm-hmm.
Samantha feels dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Samantha feels scared. What is my parents going to say? Or Samantha feels scared. What are my friends going to think? Me and Dave, we did this and everything. And Samantha goes to the police.
Mm-hmm.
She reports the act of rape.
Mm-hmm.
Once she reports that act of rape, it has to be investigated. Investigators are going to come, and this case could go either way. So you have to be careful and understand that, is it consent? And it has question mark, question mark, question mark. Yes means yes. I want to go all the way. No means no. And that in between is a risk factor. Okay. So that's a risk factor.
And we got to be careful with risk
Yeah.
because it could be interpreted either way. But if the answer is I'm uncomfortable, that's a no, right?
Yes or no.
Okay, so that's important for those of you who are watching and you're talking to your grandchildren as well as your children, as well as yourselves. When a person that says I'm uncomfortable, I don't feel good about this, let it go, leave, stop there. Do you find that we know that majority of the aggressors, not all, but a majority of the aggressors are males? Do you find it more in the youth or do you find it more in the adults?
Actually, you find it more in adults. The youth, they are growing into what they see.
Mhm.
We teach our children by our behaviors, so they watch what we do. So unfortunately, we are raising in this generation some young predators, be it both male and female. And I know that sounds terrible,
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
all
a
right.
fact.
Right,
And
absolutely.
everything, it is a fact. So if daddy takes it from mommy
Uh-huh.
whenever daddy feels like it,
Okay.
and I'm a witness to that,
Okay.
I'm going to do that behavior
Okay.
and everything. I'm either going to act like that or I'm going to be the total opposite. So I want to say that I'm not I don't have the statistics in front of me. I do like to have stuff ready for me because you never know what questions are going to come up. But I want to say that it's still more of the adults that are the
Okay,
aggressors
understand.
more than the children.
Yeah. And do you think because we are in this more, we have a heightened education system where people are now aware of no means no, that you're getting more reporting on it? Because at one point, when I was growing up, this wasn't really a big factor. Not that I grew up 100 years ago, but it wasn't as much. You didn't hear of rape. The only rape you heard of was the violent rape.
Yes.
Now, this acquaintance rape was a new phenomenon, and it doesn't make it right,
Mhm.
but it's just new for this generation. And you made a very key point when you said that, if you see daddy doing something or mommy doing something, then you become a product of that. Well, if daddy say you be aggressive,
Mhm.
you
Be a man.
and just do, because she's
Mhm.
going to say no,
Yes.
but she
She
doesn't mean
doesn't
no.
really mean it.
And when you say predator, I think that is happening quite often.
hmm It is true. It's just really a fine line. It's really funny. Coming up, they didn't talk much about it.
Yes.
Now in the school systems today, you're protected by your titles. You have your Title IX where you are protected if you go to your school systems and you let them know that you feel like you was threatened or you feel assaulted or you feel like something was taking place. You didn't like how Sue came off to you. You didn't like how Bob came off to you, and you can go to your wellness centers or you could go to a superior, you can go to your teachers, to your principals, and you can let them know how you feel without fear of them sharing that information
Okay.
because you're protected. So back in the day there wasn't those protection, there
Protections.
wasn't those rulings, like for instance, now the victims right the Newcastle County's victims rights task force, the governor is signing a proclamation for April to be that victims right awareness week and everything. And it's important that everybody knows that you can get this information, and there's a lot of things you can go to troop twos and different troops where they have events hosting and letting you know no means no, what will happen to you, the steps that they have to follow behind a complaint and things of that nature. So it's getting out more and more about sexual assault, but not in the right places, such as
Okay.
church houses.
Oh wow, thank
Okay.
you. That was a very good. That was a great transition right there. Why do you think the church houses don't want this to even be discussed?
Well, it's an uncomfortable conversation for many, and sometimes we like to look for scripture and find scriptures to make a person feel better, um and things like that. But when you're talking about sexual assault, sex is something you talk about, a man and a woman and a husband and a wife being married in a church. And fornication is things that you're not supposed to do, but happens. It's a world of fornication
That's
out
right.
here,
Yeah,
so we have to just face that.
absolutely.
But I'm not clergy, that
You don't have to be
that's
clergy.
you. And we're uncomfortable talking about it. Now, do you want to be in a pulpit talking about sex, like
Mm,
open sex, sexual assault, sex trafficking form? Because they all go together. Human trafficking and sex trafficking is the same. They
yeah.
do a lot. They take you for reasons
Hmm.
and everything to gain a profit. But you don't want to talk about it from the pulpit.
Absolutely.
You have to be careful. Can you take scriptures out of the Bible and talk about them? Yeah, like what happened. The wife that tried to seduce Joseph, things like that,
Yes,
things like
yes.
that. But
Potiphar's
Joseph
wife.
was,
Yeah,
yeah, Potiphar, but she was
yeah,
smart.
yeah.
He was smart,
Yeah.
he knew not to tread there and everything. So you can kind of bounce off of something like that and bring it around to where they'll understand. But sexual assault and sex trafficking, you might want to have forums and everything inside the church, or have little conferences or things like that, which is why I stand alone on Accessible Structures Incorporated, because it's both spirituality
Hmm.
and empowerment. Because those we can talk about in those forms things that we don't want to talk about in a church house. So you got to provide a place for people to be able to still be spiritually fed, still understand what's taking place, and understand that sexual assault and sexual awareness is something that's going to need to be discussed at one time or another. Inside the churches, you have to get creative with how you attack it, even in conference form or you just make sure materials are out and they're available for people to see?
But and I'm of that school. I agree with you that no, we should not. I should not be in the pulpit as a clergy, just talking about sex and talking about assaults and things of that nature.
Right.
But I do also believe in wholeness. Salvation should not be limited to a worship experience where we sing and read from the hymn, read from the Bible, and that's it. What we do outside of the worship experience is very key and powerful.
Hmm.
So we always had Sunday school that helped you to learn more about the Bible in a very different way. But you use the word seminars, information sessions. I mean, you have to have this available beyond just brochures.
Yes.
Some people never pick up a brochure, but to know that on Saturday afternoon we're going to have a sexual assault seminar, the pastor's endorsing this. It will help a person be a Christian stronger.
Hmm.
Sometimes people think that if you go ahead and introduce these topics, people will then get curious and they'll start doing things.
Hmm.
But I'm of the school that people do stuff, but they do stuff better when they are aware of what they're doing. When I say better, I mean there was once there was a pushback on condoms.
Hmm.
And I remember when Planned Parenthood was trying to get into the churches to give out condoms. Well, I did allow them to give out condoms here. I was not promoting fornication.
Right, I understand.
I was not promoting that.
Mhm.
But I had enough sense to know that there were people in my congregation, young people, some old too, who were indulging
Right.
in fornication.
Hmm.
So what I would rather them be safe and educate them
Hmm.
than to just be reckless. And now I got to preach a sermon near my God to thee because we have to bury them, AIDS and all the other stuff that could have, syphilis and different things that could happen. I just never understood the mindset. And maybe because I was raised in a church where the pastor, it was a very strong Pentecostal church, but the pastor was very open to making sure we had knowledge.
Hmm.
Learning, well, burning without learning is just a waste of time.
Yeah. And knowledge is power.
Yes.
And the thing about it is that even though like you put brochures and things out, sometimes people don't take the brochure because they're afraid somebody's watching.
Yeah.
So they're afraid that someone sees it. And even with having a forum, a sexual assault platform, you have to get creative in how you introduce that. So you don't really want to introduce it on a solo tip. You want to add to that so that you can get the people to come in, because those that are suffering from stress, those that are depressed and have stress in your church houses, that are feeling some kind of way, that are in tears and everything, young and old, because what happens in your youth, if you don't deal with it, then later on, when you're 65 and you're 70 years old, that thing comes upon you. And then you have this parishioner in church that is suffering from stress and trauma, and you don't know what it's from. And then you find out later that this was a sexual assault that has taken place that was not dealt with in the church house. So we have to get creative inside the church houses so that people know, that they have help there inside the church houses. We're easy. We talk about the LGBTQ plus, God, the plus, LGBTQ plus communities. You hear it preached in the pulpits. You'll hear them talk about it. Because God created man and woman. A plug and a socket. And everything, so to speak. I'm sorry, but that's what was created. He made woman. So we'll preach that because it's easy, and you'll hear about that because it's easy. But in today's world, it's really not that easy, because that community, the LGBT community, it has a lot of power and everything. That has a lot of protection, and that comes from us not dealing with the sexual violence in the right places from youth, from back in the day until now.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot that's out there, and the more knowledge that we get is more power. We have to let people know that there's resources available.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna pick up where you just left off at when we come back. We're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Hey guys, as peer counselors, we want to bring information about sexual abuse out in the open. But sometimes the hardest part of dealing with abuse is understanding what's even happening.
Sexual abuse is when someone touches the private parts of your body. You know, the parts of the body underneath the bathing suit. Or abuse is when the person has you touch his or her private parts, or shows you pictures of naked people.
Many times, touches that are uncomfortable start as touches that are too friendly or part of a game. While these touches might make you feel uncomfortable, you're not sure if the touch is sexual abuse. Even if these touches make you feel uncomfortable or nervous, you might not really understand that something is wrong.
By the time you realize that the touching is sexual abuse, you don't know how to make it stop.
Even if you didn't say no when the touching started, you can say no now. Sexual abuse hurts because it violates your right to control your body.
Abusers can be someone you trust. Maybe it's someone who gives you lessons or teaches you how to play sports, or even a relative. Because you know the person well and they can tell you what to do, it's even harder to say no if they do something that makes you feel uncomfortable.
We have a letter from Quinn, who wrote about a situation with an older person that had been a friend. The person touched Quinn inappropriately, saying it was just a game. It was very confusing for Quinn because the older person had been nice before and gave Quinn special gifts and video games. The person did this to make Quinn feel okay about what was really going on and to make sure Quinn didn't tell anybody about the abuse.
When the abuse has gone on for a while, it's easy to think that it's your fault for not stopping it sooner, or for going along with it. The most important thing to remember is that abuse is never your fault.
If you think you've been abused or there's someone in your life who makes you uncomfortable, you need to tell a trusted adult. Talking about it can be scary, but it's the first step to making it stop.
I just wanted to just grab one more time what you were just sharing because I think it's important. Mm-hmm. The more education we have, the more knowledge we have, the better off we'll be. That's what I believe. You were talking about the LBG. I don't know all the letters, so
LGBTQ plus.
Okay, and I think one of the things that bothers me as a pastor and as a Christian is that we don't believe that we should even talk about that group other than to send them to hell. And I think that has been the problem because you have pushed with the way a lot of the faith community have pushed that community is that if you one of them, you're going to hell and that's all we got to talk about, which made a lot go into closets, hurt, never to be able to expose for healing. All of us were sinners at some point. Now, your sin is yours, mine is mine. I don't know anybody else's sin. But we found salvation. We found deliverance. But if you're telling me, well, if you have sex, you're going to hell, well, God is a merciful God. Yes. Can he not forgive me?
Yes.
Can I not sit down, because he gave us free will, can I not sit down and look at all the facts and then make a decision? I think some people would not be in the position that they're in the predicaments that they're in, if they had been given the knowledge they needed to make sound decisions. And that's just what I believe. I know you're not clergy, but the reality of it is I kind of agree that the more knowledge we give our parishioners, the stronger I believe they are.
And that's just building a strong foundation and a strong community within the body of Christ. See, within the body of Christ, we need to all recognize that we are all one body. So with the one body, we have many members, right? So we're all one body and we have all these members. And the thing about it is that we're all different, you know. So each one of us should be able to take a strength that we have and we should be able to pay it forward to someone else. Now, in paying it forward to someone else, that does not mean we're going to pay forward your traumas and your heartaches and your hardships and pay it forward to the world. We're going to help you to get through this thing. So inside our church houses, if we build a little bit more compassion, and we put ourselves out there and let people know who you are and what it is that you do. I'm very open. I am a survivor of sexual assault and domestic violence. And my sexual assault happened as a youth and by someone that I knew. So I wear both the physical and the emotional scars from it, but God is so good and He's been good in my life that I actually look at what took place with me as Him growing me to be able to help others. You know, not everybody that's been a victim of a violent crime can help, all right? That is not the makeup for it. Some people will have somebody locked up, you know, with their advice that they give them. So what it is like for me, I make sure that everybody knows that there are resources out here that you can get assistance from everywhere, and there's a no judgment zone. See, we tend to look at our young girls, and you know how they dress. You'd be like, oh my God in heaven, girl, where is the rest of your clothes and everything, you know? And they have it on and say something happens to them. So as soon as something happens to them, we're quick to judge. Well, if she didn't have that on, that wouldn't have taken place. But no, rape and assault is a control thing. It has nothing to do with what you're wearing, okay? You can have a dress on from head to toe. You can be covered up like a librarian. I am not talking about librarians, you know, but you could just be covered from head to toe and everything. And if a person's mindset is in attack mode, they're going to attack you. So what we have to do is not, again, like you were saying, not attack, not make you want to run in and hide. Let you come out forward. Let the community be who they are. Just talk to them. Sin is sin. And like you said, all sin, everybody, I'm a sinner, okay? But you can see some folks sin.
Right.
So the sins that you can see, we're quick to pick at. But the sins that you can't see, and I ain't clergy, but the sins that you can't see and everything is some sins that we're just not going to tackle and everything. So I think that if we become more open, we have more open forums, we have more dialogue, we have more time in church where you can talk back. Church is a good place to go to get the word from God. However, church is also a place that we should be able to go and have talk back conversations. You know, conversations where I can put this out here because Sue might be going through the same thing that Jane is going through. But if Sue is never given an opportunity to speak about it in the church houses where we should come. And that's my whole, for the YWCA, I'm a Christian outreach person. They're like, get Ardeena, she going to the church houses and everything, and let them know, because this is a hospital. And they need help.
That's right.
And beyond, you know, like a lot is tears of joy. Everybody that's in church crying is not crying because they sad. Everybody in church shouting is not shouting because they sad and everything. But for those that need us, we need to be able to be there and have the necessary tools.
Yeah, and speaking of tools, that I want to grab that down because you came in with your question mark, is it consent?
Yes.
I thought that was excellent from the YMCA of Delaware.
Yes, Sexual
But
Assault Response Center.
Yeah, you have some other things there, and I want you just to go through a couple of those while we're here, because I just want you to explain it, because I know also you have your bookmarker here. So just tell us a little bit about the bookmarker, and I want to get to your survival book kit too in just a minute.
Okay, perfectly. So the Sexual Assault Resource Center is a center that has like all kinds of resources. You can come and you can get information on where to go, where to get help, what's taking place where, and a lot of tools to help you survive and to help the survivor survive. This is a bookmarker. Actually, one of my friends, she created this bookmarker. Rebecca, she did a great job. And what it does, if you're a survivor or if you're someone that's studying the field of you know, social services with females just in that area, these are great relaxation tools. They're not only relaxation tools, but they tell you. So this says sexual assault prevention right here. And what it does, it tells you consent, survive. Yes means yes, no means no. Listen, that's the key part. The listen, somewhere in there you might have missed the no, okay? So you have to listen, respect, no gender no gender, that's on here. No gender makes a difference. A man or a woman. A woman can be just as aggressive as a man, and a man can be just as aggressive as a woman. And then you have your transgenders, and you have all the other people who have the same right, other individuals. I don't want to say other people because it doesn't sound politically correct. So just all the other individuals in their own minds, they have to learn to ask. So we have this, breaking the silence. And you do this and you color it in, and while you're coloring it, if something happens, it tells you to report it, okay? There's private lines that I will tell you about them in a few minutes. I'm actually on a helpline 24/7. I'm actually available 24/7 for you. You can call me any time of day. If there is something that you need, I will get you what you need, and I will get you to the necessary people. Empowerment is what it is. The truth is the truth. Be aware. When you finish coloring this in, you feel so relaxed and so comfortable, and guess what else? You've been knowledge filled.
That's right.
Just by the coloring of the book marker. You can sit it in your book and give it to your children, give it to the adults and everything. It's a great tool for teenagers. Another tool that I have with me is a wellness magnet that you put it on thing and people see it. We have to make sure that we are in a safe place in our mindsets. We want to keep our bodies and minds on an even keel. We don't want to go to the left or to the right. Me, I analyze absolutely everything. If I have to say that as a result of what I've been through has made me more, analytical, then that's what it has had. So what I have to do is I have to practice mind and body wellness. And these are magnets that we give out at the YWCA Delaware. I keep them. Let me tell you, when I say I'm a walking resource, I'm a walking resource, okay? And everything. So this says well-being, mind, and body. Focus on what's positive in your life. Make sure to get plenty of sleep, which a lot of us lack, okay? Plenty of sleep. Just do the best you can. Speak kind words. Take time to express gratitude. I thank you very much for having me on here to talk to the people today. Dr. Curry, you just have no idea how grateful I am to you for that. Listen to your favorite music. I was listening to my favorite music while I was on my way over here, just to get my mind in a peaceful place to be able to sit here and have this conversation. Give back to the community. We want to give back. Whatever it is we learn, we want to give it back to the community. You guys do a great job of giving back here at Zion Fair Baptist Church. So kudos to you, Dr. Curry, and such a great job that you do. Take a few deep breaths. Sometimes we just gotta.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
It works before you go off to the left. Exercise on a regular basis. Now I don't know who do that all the time. Okay, well, praise the Lord. To God be the glory. And focus on what you can control. And these magnets are good because you can post them up in your homes and your office places, because we have to focus on what we can focus on. And then, we have our stress and anxiety. It tells you to meditate again and get plenty of sleep. Talk to your friends and family. We have to pay forward what it is what we know. And sometimes the youth don't want to listen to us, but tell them anyway, because later on you'll see where they listen and everything. So share what you know. Give them the tools, what it is that they need to keep pressing. The condoms, give it to them. My God, I gave my grandsons a cup of condoms. And I told them, I said, listen, I'm not giving you these condoms because I'm giving you permission to go out and have sex. However, I need you to think and be smart and protect yourself. And also, my mama is counting how many condoms that she put in these cups that she gave me. So I'm going to be watching that cup on a regular. But we have to get out and we have to just simply pay it forward. So that's another tool. Then we have, this right here is our emergency kits. And inside our emergency kit is if something has happened to an individual, they've been assaulted or anything, they've been out on the street. Inside here, it has plenty of information. It has toiletries inside of it. It has toothpaste, toothbrushes, and everything. It tells you to find your fearless with the tissues and everything. Gives you the information about the YWCA Sexual Assault Center and everything that goes along with it. We have the bookmarkers inside here. hand sanitizers, all the necessities that one might need that run through this door. Say they run through the door to church. Oh, Dr. Curry, I need help. This happened and everything. You know, you be like, Miss Rosa. You know, because if it's a female, you'd be like,
That's right.
Miss Rosa. And everything. This is something that she can hand out to them, so it lets them
Well,
know.
where do you get those from?
Everything. If you contact the YWCA, this is our number, YWCA Delaware 24/7 Sexual Assault Response Center at 1-800-773-8570, or you contact me, Ardeena Wallace, at Accessible Structures Incorporated, 302-510-0584, and you will get what you need.
Good, good, good. Well, this seems like y'all have it all together. Not only have it together, but you want to make sure that the knowledge gets out to the people so that the people will definitely be blessed in order to have the information. What I want to do is we're going to take another commercial break real fast, and we're going to come back. And what I want to do this time is I want to just talk a little bit more about, you know, some of the scenarios that may happen, all right? We'll be right back.
Happy birthday, dear Ellie.
Now, Ellie, remember, this is our special secret.
Okay, Uncle Jim.
1 in 5 children is sexually abused before they turn 18.
Make a wish, but remember, it's a secret.
Do you know the signs?
I just want everyone to go home.
Learn more about the risks of child sexual abuse at sapria.org.
Sexual harassment. No one should have to suffer from sexual harassment at work. Sexual harassment can be unwelcome actions, gestures, photos, notes, leering looks, and innuendos, and is not limited by your gender or sexual orientation. Sexual harassment can also occur when there is a threat of losing your job or opportunity if you do not agree to submit to sexual advances. Your employer must take all reasonable steps to stop harassment. Many employers fail, and complaints can often go ignored. In some cases, the victim can be the target of retaliation or termination. While there are strong laws in California to protect victims of sexual harassment, some people are afraid to speak out against it. Is your employer targeting you?
Well, we've had an opportunity, Ms. Wallace, to talk about several things, the seriousness of sexual assault. It's nothing to joke about. I mean, as much as every time I get with you, I'm always laughing, and we have a good time because you're such a ball of fun. But you're also a ball of knowledge, and you got everything. You just said you don't have everything, but you have everything, and you just sharing some of the things that you do have. And one of the things you didn't talk about was the types of self-help. I see that flyer is there. What is that all about?
This right here just tells you that there's types of tools out there. You know, like if we do yoga, sometimes we just need to sit still and do yoga, or we want to exercise, or we want to just sit in meditation. Meditation is good. I used to think that the music in the elevators, they called it music or everything, but it's actually meditation music that takes you through a travel, like when you're traveling from one part of the office to another space. So it's supposed to help keep you in the right mindset. So, you know, exercise and working out. And these are just reminders. These tools are just reminders of the things. It's just pictures of the things to help you to stay in those spaces. See, if we don't know, we can't, what you say, you know better, you do better.
Yes.
You know, and knowledge is power. You know, I had to educate myself through all of this, you know. So I've studied with, you know, the Delaware State and Delaware Tech's Terry campus, and I've gotten more knowledge gain. If they have a conference, a seminar, or whatever it is, I'm going.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm there. The Wilmington University, they have awesome programs at Wilmington University. They run them quite often and everything. So I just encourage people that, you know, if you don't want to sit in a classroom 24/7, but you want to gain knowledge and everything, take advantage of every one of them seminars that they have out there. Get yourself certified, get everything that you need, because you can do it, and you can do it without taking all of your time. So I encourage you so that you'll be able to help somebody if you feel like you have help in your spirit and you're committed to helping someone, and you want to give them these tools that are out there to help them recognize.
Well, how do a person get in touch with you? Let's talk about you first. You're there. You want the ambassadors out there to help get this message out and to move it forward. How does one get in touch with you?
You get in touch with me. My name is Ardeena Wallace. I'm the founder of Accessible Structures Incorporated. My email address is Accessible Structures Incorporated. Reach out to me 302-510-0584. That is my office phone. I will pick it up, give you a message. I'll return your call. And listen, if you're serious, come be a part of my team. If you're serious and you feel like you can reach the community and you can be committed, and you walk in confidentiality, and you are just approachable, please reach out to me, because it is important that we get the resources out there. And listen, we all ain't saints. You know, we all a sinner. But I need you to know Jesus as your Lord and Savior, so that you can help promote what Accessible Structures is all about, promoting spirituality and resources all at the same time.
Now, you made a comment about approachable. Why is it so important for a person to be approachable?
It's very important to be approachable, because if I'm feeling some kind of way and you're looking like,
Okay.
I'm not going to come to you.
Right.
And I don't know why the Lord gave me this gift. You know, I'm studying spiritual gifts right now. Phew, Jesus. So, you know, I'm like, I don't know why he gave me this gift of gab. And he also gave me a sense of humor.
Yeah.
And I can plug it in, but I also know where to pull it out.
Yeah.
And so that's being approachable. So they're like, okay, I can talk to her and everything. So if someone feels like they can talk to you, then they're going to come to you. So they're not necessarily going to go to your organizations. They're not necessarily going to go, you know, to your big name places. They might necessarily need to go through a back door to get there. So I'm your roadway. You know, so I'm your roadway. You need this, you know, not a problem. I'm going to get you to the YWCA Delaware SARC Center, because they have what you need and everything. They have all the resources that you need. They have all the help that can get you to have a normal life, and sooner than later.
Okay. Now, one of the cards that you gave me was domestic violence resources, and does that fit under the whole sexual assault as well?
Yes, because if he or she is violent at home, you can guarantee, you can bet your bottom dollar that your sexual not wanting to have intercourse is not an option. You're going to have that intercourse when they are ready. Okay, so, you know, and again, male or female, it doesn't matter. You're going to have that, you know, because people always say that it's just the male gender that is aggressive and everything. And although the male gender's aggressiveness is 75%, that's a whole 25% of aggressive women out there. So, I mean, I'm kind of aggressive, you know, in different ways. I'm kind of aggressive because I've been created that way. So we're out there. It's all in how you manage your aggressiveness. But domestic violence, it falls under it. We have these little cards that we give out. You can find these cards in the hospitals, in the restrooms, because see, you have to think where you put stuff. Like at my church, New Mount Olive Baptist Church, Wilmington, Delaware, you know, Pastor Lavina Johnson Smith, that's my pastor. We have them in the bathroom. And I monitor it, because they're not going to take the stuff so you can see it, but I can see what's been taken out, you know. So I know that, you know, it's been a few taken out. In your hospitals, they place these in the restrooms. So, because if you have it on the table where you walk up, nobody's going to take that off the table, because they're going to think, oh, they think this is for me. You know, it might be for my cousin, or even if it is for them, they don't want you to see. So it has all your contact numbers, your domestic violence hotline number, your rape crisis number, your contact life number. You have your 911s if you're in immediate danger. It has your adult protective services. Senior citizens, they are not exempt from this right here in Canada. You know, senior citizens are sexually assaulted, and it's sad to say, but it's almost on a regular basis. Your child abuse report lines, your court-based advocacy services. Every courthouse, every police station has a court-based advocate. So if you need to talk to somebody before you report the crime, you have somebody that's going to be your liaison, because not every cop is equipped to handle you.
Right.
You know, not every cop understands what you just went through. So God is great, because now they're having sensitivity training for the law enforcement, so that they know how to handle victims of sexual assault, you know, so that they don't look at them like, oh, well, you was drunk, you know, and this is what happened to you. Oh, you shouldn't have been walking out in the street, you know, certain times. So now they're being trained, and you know, the governor is he's having proclamations, and they're having things right now that are taking place. The Newcastle County Victims' Rights Services, they're having an event on April the 25th at Troop 2, April the 24th at the State Troopers Troop 2's community room. They're having Stop the Scams Advocacy Days, the proclamation signings at 1:30 on April the 28th. All kind of things to let you guys know that we are serious about being of help for the communities of sexual violence.
Okay. Well, you know, just and then we'll get into some more information of how people can contact certain places and yourself. But just to make sure we're clear, can a spouse sexually abuse a spouse?
Yes, he can.
Okay.
No means no.
Okay. Okay. I want to say that, and I'm asking that question because I want people to hear that.
Yes, no means no.
And the same people we have here for them to contact if they feel threatened or whatever is the exact same information.
Yes.
Can a father sexually assault their children?
Oh my God, yes.
Okay.
Can he?
Okay.
Yes.
Well, what if
Child abuse.
okay? Well, what if
On the guard.
what if the child tells someone that's not in the home? Can the person they tell report that?
Now that's a tricky line right there, okay? Because of the thing, if the person that they tell, what it is you're mandated as humans to report of crime. What'll happen is it will be reported, and you won't have a face on your report because they have to investigate it. So once that report gets placed to the victims of crime services, an investigator will come out and start investigating the crime. The child, if under 16, you're definitely mandated. If the child is 16 and above, that child has to report that. She has to want to talk about it, she or he. They have to want to talk about it because it happened to them. They have the right. If they want to keep it private, they can keep it private. They can go to AI's Children's Hospital and they can talk to them inside there. There are people that will talk to the youth and let them know. If they are under the age and they've reported to you, you are mandated. So if somebody comes in here and tells you, you know, that this child was sexually assaulted, or you seen that this child was sexually assaulted, you seen things, then you're mandated to report it. Now you can't say who did the crime, you know, but what you can do is report that something has taken place here, that I don't know what it was that took place here, but it's something that you may want to look into. And at that time, the counselors or the court people will tell you what you can and can't do from that point on.
Yeah. So what we're trying to do today is, in our final moments of the show, is we're trying to make sure that you are aware.
Yes.
That's the key. You need to be aware. Sexual assault happens often. As a matter of fact, it happens frequently.
It's happening now.
Absolutely. As we're on the air. What we want to make sure is that you have advocacy. You have a place you can go, you can call, or someone you can talk to. Because at the end of the day, you have a right to be whole. Can I say that again?
Yes,
you have a right to be whole.
Yes.
You do not have to live with this hidden up thing in you and, oh, I don't want to tell anybody because I'm afraid of what happened to me. You have a right to be whole. And there's, like she said, you can do it in private and the people are held in confidence, or you can do it, which you need to seek the services. So could you tell us, now you gave us your email, but you didn't give us an email. I think you gave us an email, but you forgot whether it was yahoo.com or whatever. So give me your email one more time.
Accessible Structures, that's ACCESSIBLE, Structures, all one word, STRUCTURES @ gmail.com.
Now that time you gave us a gmail.com. You didn't give us one earlier. All right,
I was probably rambling. You know, I ramble on
no,
sometimes,
you're not
especially
rambling.
if I get
You're
excited.
giving us some very good
Good.
knowledge. All right, so that's if they want to contact you, and you'll be available. You're trained.
Yes,
And
trained,
licensed to be
yes, certified. Yes.
certified to be able to handle and
Yes.
talk people through. I want you to know that as well.
Yes.
Now you've given us your phone number before, so give it to us one more time.
302-510-0584.
Yes.
I've been studying this field right here since 2014. I tell you, whatever was jumping, whatever, who's having training, you having seminars, who's doing this, listen. And I tell you, God set me up this way because no, I don't want to work in your courthouses. No, I don't want to work in your institutions because I don't want to be bound by your policies and procedures. That may sound funny, but that's why you have to be your own business owner.
Right.
Because if I need to talk to a victim a little bit longer than what your guideline allows for me to do, I need to have my own business. I promote everyone's places of contact lifelines, the Coalition Against Domestic Violence. You know, I took a lot of training through them under their previous director, Carol Post, at the Terry campus and places. But there are guidelines that you have to follow. You know, even with like the sexual assault line, I'm anonymous unless I choose not to be. And if my spirit tells me that I need to go further, with me being in a volunteer status, I can do that. And it's on me. So with my own foundation, with my own organization, I can talk to you and I can walk you through whatever it is that you need to be walked through and be there for you and listen to you without you being a fear of, you know, a lot of other people being involved in it.
Yeah. So if I am a member of a church and my pastor says, "Hey, I'll open up and allow a seminar or someone to come in and speak on sexual assault," and you have other areas too, um, would you be available if your calendar permit? Are you one of the people that will certainly be able to give us?
Oh, I would definitely be able to do it. And if I was not available, I definitely am in contact with I'm a walking resource.
Yeah.
Not 5 minutes, you know, they can't contact me and say, I need you more
Yeah.
and everything, you know. But yes, I'm connected. They say to connect yourself and to know your surroundings and know who's good for what. My mother told me that. As a young girl, she said, Ardeena, you need to know who your friends are, know what they do. It's not as being nosy, but knowing what they are good at and everything. So yes, I keep myself surrounded by people in the field of help so that they will be able to come out and do whatever it is you may need.
Great. I noticed that you have on this consent that question mark, is it consent? And you have on here the YWCA website, which is www.ywcade.org /SARC. And that's for Sexual Assault Response Center.
Yes, SARC.
So, SARC. Okay. So
that's my shirt, SARC.
And I was going to say to you,
yes,
absolutely.
That's my shirt. It's on the back too.
It's important that people know that. So I'm hoping that our team will make sure they put this information
Please.
on the screen. If you want to get in contact with Ardeena, then you need to call her because she will certainly be a great resource to you as well as giving you. She's a great resource for East Zion Fair, and I know she belongs to the famous church of
Mount Olive
Olive
Baptist Church, Wilmington, Delaware, 404012 Washington Boulevard. Lavina Johnson Smith is our pastor.
Okay, you got your plug in. And I do support her church and pastor as well. And I'm grateful to God. But even though you're very much faithful and over there 100%, you give to everybody.
Yeah, I do.
And when I need help, when I need somebody to be able to give me a direction on where to go to get these help, because as a pastor, these type of issues come to our table.
They do.
I am not a professional in every area because I preach from the pulpit. I respect people like you who have gone and gotten the training and gotten the things that you need to know to help the people. So I just want to make sure that people know, if you want someone who can really be a great resource, you need to give Ardeena a call and make sure you send her an email. And she'll help you. You'll be on the show telling me, when you told me to call her, I called her and she was there for me. I want to take this opportunity, Sister Wallace, to say thank you so very much for spending the time you spent. We didn't get a chance to joke like we normally do, and we didn't talk about Big Sexy this time, but we got to make sure we give some honor to him.
Yes.
One of the great deacons over there out of Baptist Church.
That's my husband.
But I do appreciate what you do for this community,
Thank you.
I hope and trust that as we move forward, somebody's life have been touched by what we just discussed today.
Amen.
And will be able to be transformed because of the work that you do.
Amen.
Thank you so very much. Is there anything else you want to share before we go?
Just be encouraged. Just be encouraged and know that resources are out there for you. Just know that we are out here to help you, be it myself or anyone else that is in this field that's working. All of your domestic violence that's on this card here. Each and every person is out there to help you. And there are some more smaller entities that are out there as well to get you what you need. But trust God first. Then reach out to one of us. Reach out to me, YWCA Delaware. Number 1-800-357-8570, and be blessed.
Oh, thank you. We'll be right back.
I think for survivors of sexual assault, this is really dredging up a lot of negative feelings. Folks might be feeling anxious because they're reminded about things that they hadn't thought about in a while. For folks that have been suffering with post-traumatic stress disorder or other mental health consequences of sexual assault, this could really, exacerbate that. It's okay to be upset about this. This is a really understandable thing to feel upset about. It's really tough to see a person, and I think many of us can imagine ourselves in her shoes, telling a story and not being believed about something so sensitive and so personal and so upsetting. In terms of dealing with this news, a really critical piece is feeling those feelings and sitting with them and experiencing them and doing your very best, even though it's difficult, to not avoid them or push them away and let them process naturally. It's really tough to see people that we love struggling. And at the same time, one of the most important things that we can do as their loved ones is to bear witness to that pain that they're experiencing and not try to distract them or not try to just take their mind off it, but really sit with them and be a shoulder to cry on. I want survivors to know that there are a lot of people out there, including me, who believe them. We found that sexual assault survivors in almost every study were at greater risk of these mental health conditions, and they were at particularly high risk of post-traumatic stress disorder. It is real and it is harmful, and that many people have suffered in silence with an experience of sexual assault and have been unwilling to come forward for these very reasons that we're seeing right now. So we see all this skepticism and doubt and blame. Those are the reasons why survivors wait decades to come forward. To change that, if we think that that's a problem, we need to start being vocal about believing survivors and taking their experiences seriously, because a lot of people are suffering from these conditions as a result of an experience of sexual assault.
Where's my? Okay.
Ready?
Yes. They're not gonna see you.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
And we're back. What a great show. The whole purpose was to make sure that we bring awareness to sexual assault. All too often, it happens. People have to live and feel dirty by themselves. No. No means no. And if you certainly declared no and someone took it as a yes, you need to get the help. Your psychological formation matters. Just sitting in it, stewing over it, will go into your adulthood. It will then go into your seniorhood, and you'll live your life in anger. Get the help. This whole month we'll be doing different topics. We wanted to start off with sexual assault because it is prominent in our community. We just say nothing, keep it quiet, don't talk about it. You must, in order for your own sanity. I'm very grateful that we had Ardeena Wallace with us today, and she is a true walking, I call her walking psychologist when it comes down to this area. But I do want you all to please reach out to her and try to get some assistance if need be, or if you want her to come to your church, just reach out to her. I thank you so very much for the time that we shared together today. Until the next time we get together, may the Lord God bless you real good. I don't care when I have these people on here. Does she making noise? Now they don't know she was sitting right here. You weren't supposed to laugh.
Oh, I'm laughing because it ain't no coffee in my cup.
If there wasn't coffee in my cup.